Today I'm at Göbekli Tepe, which is another amazing ancient site in Turkey. So here you can see there's two pits. This is quite similar to the approach to Karahan Tepe, in which there is a single pit which is full of water, stagnant water, which unfortunately wasn't in the video. This pit, these two pits here probably were filled with water at certain times of year. Not really sure what they're for, but probably might have been for some kind of ritual bathing, possibly. As you can see here, came up the walkway. There's a big circular walkway that goes all the way around the main part of the site that's been excavated. Of course, this is actually a very tiny proportion of the entire site. There's many of these sort of actual monuments, if you want to call them that, which are still buried. So I think there's only about 20% that's been excavated. As with Karahan Tepe, you can see the animal shapes. That's sort of some kind of like a lizard or crocodile. And as we go around, you'll see more and more of these. You can see, yep, there's carving there, although that's quite faded. Depending on the light, at different angles, different times, you can see different creatures. That's like some kind of bison or something, and possibly sort of snakes. As with Karahan Tepe, although it's more sophisticated what they've done here, a lot of these T-pillars have been propped up. And one of the things they've done, as you've probably noticed, is there is a big canopy overhead which restricts the amount of light that is entering. Sorry about my thumb there. So you get a fairly good close-up. You can see a lot of animals. That's some kind of jackal or fox, probably. Somewhat stylized, these animals. You can see some of the main pillars, the largest area. The pillars are held up with wood. They probably weren't that way when they were found. They probably have been propped up. Here we see what some people would describe as a roof window, and there's a circular kind of hole. Again, you can see next to the main pillars a circular hole in the stone. What the function of that is unknown. I'm sure there'll be various commentators and archaeologists that have opinions about what these holes represent or what their function was. You can see another circular hole through. It looks like a T-pillar there. As I'm panning around, it went a little bit out of focus, unfortunately. Now you can see the floor, the terrazzo floor. And a real close-up of the stones there. These are the largest stones on the site. Unfortunately, they have been covered in pigeon poop. On some of them they put spikes to try and prevent them landing, but it seems to be very intermittent. They didn't do it on most of them. So I'm wondering why they even bothered to do it at all. As you can see, sort of cupping in the top of the T-pillars on most of them, and not all of them. What that's for, again, is anyone's guess. As you can see on some of the pillars, the images are clearer than others, which is rather strange given that these were probably all buried at the same time period. So maybe just the level of wear is sort of inconsistent for some reason. As you can see, it's a pretty vast complex. It's just swinging round. You can see the canopy and the large numbers of tourists. On the outside, again, we've got this sort of wool-like material covering certain parts, and some of the stones have been actually boxed off. These are rather smaller areas on the periphery, and with T-pillars again, but again somewhat smaller in the main complex. As I went down the hill, you'll find more of these, and you can see another area that's been covered over, which is in excavation at the moment, although it's actually closed to the public completely, as you can see from the sign, do not enter. So maybe one day this will be accessible. I hope so.